All right, let's make a video here right as the rain starts to make noise. I'm glad we're getting rain finally. We've been pretty dry. I think we went 22 days without rain, and now we've been getting rain at least twice a week. Pretty good rain showers too. We had severe storms the other day. Yesterday, one rolled through, but we were right on the bottom end of it, so we didn't get hardly anything. And then it's been raining off and on all day today. But what are we getting into? So I have this little trailer here. Just bought this the other day. I had a harebrained idea, or a fever dream, or whatever you want to call it. For those of you that don't know, I got my big dump trailer, you know, and I do dumpster rental kind of deal stuff with that. And ooh, we're gonna get some thunder too. And I thought, you know, I wonder if there's a market for a smaller dumpster than like a 6-yard. That seems to be the smallest most companies offer. And my trailer is 7-yard, and if I put the wood sides on it, is 14 yards, which are both kind of oddball numbers compared to what most dumpster companies offer. It's usually 15, 10, or 6. And I've seen a couple people looking for, you know, a cheaper dumpster because they don't have a lot of stuff. So I had this idea of, well, why don't I get a 4x8 trailer and throw some 3-foot sides on it and have a little 3-yard dumpster. So I picked this trailer up, and there's pictures of it because I just started working on this yesterday. I got all excited and didn't have the camera, but there's pictures of it. I'll post them in here, but the sides went they angled up and connected to right there, so I cut them and straightened them, and I just got to do the welding and stuff now. But I found this trailer on Marketplace for $100. Well, 130 the guy wanted, and I offered him 100. He said come get it. And in the ad it didn't say if it tilted or not, but I got it home and I found out that it tilted. I mean, I really didn't care if it tilted or not. I just I was gonna make a dump bed for it and put a winch on it and make it dump, but it already does that. So the hitch is a little bent, but I can deal with that. I have an idea on how I might be able to fix it. It's just twisted a little. I think I could put it on the truck, take the excavator and pick the trailer up on one side and twist it back. But it will need tires. This one holds air for about a day, the guy said, and it needs lights yet. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna start doing some measuring and cutting and welding and getting this thing welded back together so I can put the deck on it. Well, wheel it and paint it first before we get the deck on it. I'm going to paint it black with gray rims, kind of make it match my big dump trailer. But I'll point out, I don't know if you guys can see, but my frame's going to have a little bow in it. Just from where I straightened it, I thought I cut it right about where it needed to be, but I was off a little bit. And I don't feel like cutting it again to get that little bow out, because it'll always probably have a wrinkle there from me straightening it. So we're just going to ignore that. Hopefully the OCD will not kick in too bad. But what I got to do is I need to measure up from the back. So I'm going to go just a little bit longer than 8 foot. Cut these guys off. Get this piece cut right to make it 4 foot wide, and then cut these pieces because I'm going to leave that there. It holds the jack, which holds it as part of the dump bed, which is good because I want to be able, I'm going to take the bolt out of here, put a tractor pin through it, that way I can just pull the whole tongue off, so when this is sitting at somebody's house, hopefully nobody will steal it. And I might put a little ammo can on there to hold some bungee cords and maybe a little tarp or whatever to cover it. So let's get some of this stuff cleaned up around here and do some measuring. so I got everything cut and mocked up. I'm going to do some tack welding and get everything lined up best I can. I got the trailer squared the best I can. I squared what was already here, and it's not exactly square, so I got the main trailer all the way across is close enough. I mean, it's just a little trailer. I ain't no professional builder, so it's good enough for me. I mean, you can see that's not lining up, but that might have to do with the goofy angle that stuff's on, but we'll get everything conformed in there. You guys can't tell because it could be a few seconds between camera clips, but it's actually been a couple hours. I went to my grandpa's and I cut up a piece of 4x4 tube that I had on the chop saw and made stake pockets, and I cut up a piece of square tubing here. I haven't dressed it up yet, but I'm just going to weld these wherever I want to put wires, you know, run the wires, and then I'll probably end up, I got a long one over here just hanging out. I'll probably put up here just to hold the main wire harness there when we do that. So I gotta put new batteries in my welding helmet, and we're gonna tack some stuff up and get everything lined up and then do some welding. Alright, so it's the next day now, but I got all my structural welds done. I've jumped up and down on it and nothing's cracked and broke, which is surprising because my welds aren't the prettiest. I ground them down to make them look prettier because you know, I like stuff that looks decent. I'm out of practice welding. I don't do it all that much. When I was in school and was doing it all the time in shop class and even a little bit after school, I was pretty decent at it, and I don't weld as much as I really would want to stay good at it. So, and it doesn't help that this piece of angle is twice as thick as what I'm welding to here, so you got that. It's always hard, it seems, to weld thin steel to thick steel, but I'm happy with that. So what I need to do next is I need to weld the stake pockets on it, and I already talked about the little square pieces to run the wire through. I'll just put them probably down this edge and across. I'm gonna put the little 3/4 inch lights on the front and the back, and there's some flush mount screw on tail lights I'll get from Amazon to put on the back. So I know where the lights are going to be and how that's going to work, and I need to weld the D-rings on it, or not the D-rings but the stake pockets. But I'm going to take the axle and everything off, that way I can flop the trailer on its side and weld flat, get them stake pockets on good and everything. And to get the axle and everything off, it's just 4 bolts, which isn't the conventional 4 bolts that you're probably thinking of. It's not the ones for the shock mounts or the spring mounts. The spring mounts and everything are all welded to a piece of angle iron, and it's just 2 bolts on each side. You can take the whole axle assembly and slide it forward into these holes that are on the sides. So if I wanted to even move this axle back more, I could. I would just have to drill another hole. But I would like to do that to get more dump angle, but then it's going to make the front really hard to lift. So I think we're just going to keep it where it's at. But I'm going to take that off, them bolts, the old light brackets, we'll take them off, they're all bent up, and get it flopped on its side and figure out how we're going to put these stake pockets on. Alright, should be done with all the welding. I got all the stake pockets on. I got my little wire holders on there. This one up the tongue. I welded these safety chains on here. That's about what was on it. They just had it looped over and bolted. But if the coupler breaks off, it would just slide right up the coupler. So I welded that. It's just a safety. Hopefully we never have to use it, but I mean, I yanked on these, so should be all right. Now comes the fun part of all the prep for paint. So I gotta grind the welds that I've done. They got a little bit better. I started on that side, come around, and they got better. They're not great, they're not even, but they're better. So I'm gonna get the other sawhorse in here, get this up on it, and start grinding and wire brushing. And I'm not gonna videotape any of that. Like, I haven't videotaped any of the welding or anything. You guys have seen, you can go watch welding videos. I don't care for welding videos, so I'm not gonna put you through watching just a bunch of sparks and flashy lights. So I'll just bring you through in stages. So we'll bring you back when we're probably about ready to paint. Okay, so I got it all painted that I'm gonna paint, so you can yell at me later. I don't have the insides of the C-channels painted, but I have some of it primed. My wire wheel doesn't fit in there good enough to do a really good job, so probably what I'll do is later on, because I'm in a little bit of a rush on trying to get this finished. I want to be able to pull it in the parade that's coming up, so I got everything that you'll see painted really good. But probably what I'll do is later on is I'll get some brush on paint and I'll just slather it in there real good. But I don't have any black brush on paint. I'm using paint that I have laying around, and I've actually used up all of my spray paint that's black, and I had to go buy a couple cans. But I did drill holes for lights. These holes were already here, I just had to enlarge them, but those are for the little I call them 3/4 lights. But these little guys, these little button lights or whatever you want to call them. And then I just got back from Roll King. They had the lights that I wanted. I didn't know they had them. Now I could have got them cheaper on Amazon, but these I don't have to wait for them. And these are submersible. These are the lights that I wanted to go with. They're like a flush mount. You bolt them on. That way I didn't have to cut the C-channel or anything. And they do come with screws too, but I don't think these screws are gonna work for what I want. So what I'm gonna do is I gotta flip the trailer over. I got it upside down, but I'm gonna flip it over and we're gonna wire it up while it's on here. And then I just have to do the axle and everything. I had to buy more black paint for this, and then I gotta get 2 tires for it. So hopefully we'll have this done in time for the parade. I can pull it in the parade. So let me flop it over and start mounting some lights. Alright, we got the lights wired up. I just got to put the plug on the end, but I want to get the truck over here, and I just want to double check that stuff's going to be hooked up right on the truck. I got the wires. So when you buy one of these like 25-foot long 4-wire deals, they have labeled on there what the wires are for, and you just match them up with your lights. On these little lights here, black is power, white is ground, which is usually the case, but sometimes you order them China lights and they're not right. And then your red off your tail lights, that's your brakes and stuff, and that hooks to yellow for left, green for right. But got everything hooked up. All the lights are burning. I checked, the left light comes on when I do the left one, and the right light comes on when I do the right one. I just gotta, like I said, double check it on the truck. And hopefully that plug's good. I've had issues with some of these plugs before. They're bad inside the actual plug, and just don't work right. So if that ends up being the case or an issue, I'll be putting a 7-pin style connector on it. But I got just enough slack in my wire to be happy, and I just pulled it out of the battery. So, but just enough slack. If I have to make a repair or something, I'll probably end up drilling me a hole and zip tying that over. But And then when I connect this, I'll tuck the connection point in that tube. So yeah, that'll be ready to put a deck on now. So all I gotta do is get the axle and fender and stuff wire wheeled and painted, and we can put that back on and paint the rims. And to run it in the parade, I might not have the tires yet. They're a little bit pricey where I've been looking, and this one goes flat pretty quick, but just for the parade I might run it with these tires on it. I don't know exactly how I'm going to pull it in the parade because I'm going to be pulling the dump trailer, but I have a spot on the back of the dump trailer where the gates latch. I might be able to swing the gates open or take the gates off completely and put a ball in there and just kind of pull this behind my big dump trailer just for the parade. And then I can throw it up in the dump trailer after the parade. That's how I brought it home. I threw it up in the dump trailer. So anyways, I will bring you back when I do something else. Alright, a little interruption. I forgot kind of where I was at, but anyways, I got this corner backwards. This board should be behind this board. I don't know how I managed that and why nothing seems to be off. I don't know. We're just gonna roll with it though. It's set up the way it works. So then for some reason trying to look at it, my front, the tops don't line up, but they rest the same on the bottom. So I don't know what the heck's going on there. That's the only thing that bugs me about it, is I can't figure out why this corner is the way that it is, but it's all right. And put a different jack on it. The other jack was too far off to the side and the trailer would wobble too much. So bought a Harbor Freight jack, put on it. And you guys, you might notice this in the video, and if you didn't notice, you'll notice now. But I put a 4-prong plug on there, and now it's got a 7-way on it. Well, I had the truck end of the plug and I put it on there without realizing it. Went to plug it into the truck and yeah, didn't quite plug in. So I put that 7-way on it, and I like 7-ways better because you can get some of them 4-way or four flat plugs that they must not make good connection inside the actual plug where it's molded or what, because some of them I have so much problems with. Like if you buy the magnetic toe lights from Rural King, and that's mainly what I've noticed it on. If you buy those magnetic toe plugs or toe lights, the plugs on them, you always have problems with the ground. I've had to zip tie the ground, pull in one way and everything else. So I should have, if I'd known I was going to go that way, because I was just trying to use what I had, I wouldn't have cut the wiring harness where I did. I would have just left it, eliminated that splice, and put that 7-way on it. But you know, hindsight's 20/20. I gotta wire up a trailer for my grandpa, and that's just the way I'm going to do it. I'm not going to put a 4-prong on it. We're just going to go the 25-foot wiring harness and a 7-way on the end of it. I'm gonna have to get on Amazon and see if I can find a 7-way that just has the 4 tabs in it, and because that's got all 7 in it. It's kind of a waste, but it's not really. So they're like $11 now, and I'm having a hard time finding them at Rural King. I've got to get 1 light and 1 plug for his trailer to redo, and but that's different story. So, but what I got left to do to this trailer is I bought handles to put on the sides. I got one on the back already to help pull the sides out, and I bought a little 5-gallon tote to put on the front to put wheel chocks, bungee cords, stuff like that in, and I'll probably put some thread-in eyelets on the sides for bungee cords. And that might be about all I do to it, and see what happens. It's like I said, it's on Marketplace now for rent. We'll see if it rents out. I'm hoping this thing is quite popular, and I need to build a couple more of these. And then if things start slowing down, or this thing isn't quite popular, I'm gonna put it for sale. I think I get a decent chunk of change out of it, being all redone and pretty, and might try flipping trailers here. See if I can work my way up to a car hauler or something, starting with these little 4x8 trailers. I see them on Marketplace all the time. 150, 200 bucks. I paid 100 bucks for this trailer. Probably got about 500 in it total. So if I could buy a couple of them for about 100 bucks, go through and redo them and flip them, get up to a car hauler. I'd like to try renting trailers out. And if I could work my way up to a trailer to rent out, that'd be perfect. But that's a conversation for a different day. This video is just about getting this little trailer done. I'll show you the inside. There's a sucker in here. Don't know how that got in there, but I got that jack stand back there. Oh, another thing I'm going to add to it is they have little flip down stabilizers for campers. I'm going to order 2 of them and put on the back, so I won't have to have that jack stand, because it gets just a little tippy on the back, and if somebody's climbing in and out of it throwing trash in it, I don't want it to rear up and take off down their driveway. So because I'm going to take the tongue off of it, so it's going to lose a little bit of its out front weight. When I drop it, I'm going to take the bolt out that it pivots on, replace it with a pin, pull the pin, I can pull the tongue. It's more theft proof that way. So I'm thinking them jacks should fit, them little stands should fit right about there. Won't be in the way of it tilting down. Be one of them things, once I get them, I can see where they're gonna fit and if I like them or not. But I was gonna weld a piece of steel on the side, on each side, and get a drop down leg, but I was gonna have more. It was gonna cost me about 40 bucks to buy the steel to do that, where I can buy them little legs for a set for 35 bucks off Amazon. So that we're gonna go that route. But yeah, so there's the little trailer. You guys pretty much got to watch it go from beginning to end. There'll be pictures at the beginning, which you've already seen, of what it looked like when I bought it and what it looks like now. So anyways, we'll catch you on the next one.